Hi, guys. So today you're just focused on writing the first part of your conclusion paragraph, which is going to be where you restate your claim, say it in slightly different words, and then summarize the main parts of your argument. So I'll show you an example of doing that now. To restate your claim, honestly, the way I usually do it is like you have an idea of your claim that's not word for word maybe, but that's like overall the same in your head. So I just would go for choosing one of those transitions and then just writing it the best you remember. Because sometimes when I actually go back up and read the exact wording of my claim, I'm like, oh my God, this is the only words that I could ever use for it. So I'm going to say, um, all things considered, the court system is undeniably a powerful method to create social change. I used a transition to show that I'm moving into my conclusion and said basically the same thing again. The next part is a little bit trickier, but I'm sure you guys can do it. And I'm going to show you a pretty straightforward way to do it. So the most straightforward way to do it, though you don't have to do it this way, is to just say, I'm going to take the key idea from each body paragraph, and that's reviewing my main points. Okay? So if I did that, it would mean that I would go up to my first paragraph and think, like, what is the part of my first paragraph, which was about the LGBTQ movement, that I really want them to take away? And usually that point is going to be in your closing analysis. So that's where you should really refresh, like, okay, what I talked about that movement here, let me look back at my closing analysis and see what is the key thing that I really want people to take away about that paragraph. But I don't want to use the exact same words here. I want to go further away from restating it because I'm really summarizing that main point. Okay, so the way I did that in this case is the history of the gay rights movement illustrates the power of the court to combat unfair laws. That happens over and over again in that paragraph. I'm like, that's really my summary. In some cases, that'll come up directly in the analysis. Sometimes you're just sort of pulling from the whole paragraph. But the analysis is a great place to start if you're trying to do this method by summarizing each body paragraph into a sentence. So then I would go up to the second paragraph and be like, okay, my main point here, it's about people getting more rights and be protected and balances of power. I'm like, okay, well, that's really what I want to bring up there. My next paragraph summary is further, cases like Miranda v. Arizona and Gideon v. Wainwright highlight the power of the court to correct imbalances of power by protecting individual rights. Note that I'm bringing up a different point. In this one, the court can challenge unfair laws. In this one, the court is important because it protects individual rights to correct balances of power. I'm not just saying like the gay rights movement shows it made social change. This shows it made social change, right? I'm trying to highlight a specific aspect in each of those things. Then finally, I would go up to the refuting counter argument section, and I add one more for my last body paragraph. Finally, in each case, court rulings allowed positive change with greater breadth and longevity than other methods would allow. You may find that if you try to use that method, it's going to be like, it's really hard for you and you're like, it feels like I'm saying the same thing, or like the historical examples don't feel the right way to go. You'll note that I also do have another example of a section like this that doesn't use that path, and that'll be in the slides as well. So in this case, after I restate my claim, I sort of summarize the idea of bringing examples in. So I say the efforts to achieve equality for LGBTQ people and expand due process protections are just two occasions in history when the court system has been used to create social change. So one sentence, instead of going paragraph by paragraph, the first sentence of my summary of evidence is just sort of like, remember, these are the cases that I talked about, and they were effective. And then I bring up like a main idea that comes up in both parts. The rulings made by the Supreme Court in the past century have had a lasting impact to protect the rights of all people from all walks of life. While it's not easy, and then I compare it to other methods, like which comes up in my analysis repeatedly. While it's not easy, the use of the courts has proved time and time again to make sweeping social change where other methods had only led to incremental progress. If you're struggling to do the like one point from each paragraph plan, you can go just a more holistic way. Either one is fine, yeah. So you got it. You're just pulling like thinking about the points that you think are most important to supporting your argument and that you really want to be leaving your reader with. Okay.